So we're here to solve this line of sight puzzle. This is a genre that was made many, many years ago by Naoki Inaba, and it's a great example of a style that is now going to be in the loop variety collection too, so a fun style with some different logic around it. This really elegant puzzle by Ashish, who's one of the authors of that book, shows us some of the things to think about in this style. In this case, we've got these one clues and one clues pointing straight to the edge. Like, I think a lot of solvers will have seen this is the first place to go in this genre. But another thing to do is when you have clues that start to point into a space, recognize when they're now effectively limited. Like this 3-up clue here has to have a 3 long stretch that's coming along this space, and this 3-up has that same constraint because you actually can't get 3 in the space just above. So this has to come in, this has to come over. And there's now still a lot of options from this point. Like this could be immediately here. This could come down and get like a 1 and a 2 working out. So I mean, you'll see that there are tough flexibilities to work through. And maybe the only other clue that immediately gives an edge is down here, but even down here we've got a lot of options. Like this is an okay version for this, this is another version for this. So all we really know is the edge is being pointed at. So where in this genre do you start to make more headway? I think it's really seeing where you've got clues pointing into the same cramped space that will have a hard time working together. And something that draws my attention is this 3 to the right clue as well as this 3 to the down clue all pointing this corner. The 3 to the down clue means I need to have a stretch like this, or like this, or like this, or like this in the grid. And so those are going to be spanning across this column and this column. And so the thing you're meant to observe, I think, from Ashish's construction is that this option here and this option here never work, because if you had this coming across, you're going to be forming an impossibility wherever you draw this horizontal line, that you can't be in that 8th or 9th column in this grid. And so instead, this is impossible, so these edges can be marked off. This has to be a force 3 long section. It turns here, this is marked off, and it turns here. And this is what this clue directly points at, not this edge, but this one now. So we know this, we mark this in. We're now right in the neighborhood of another clue that we've just made more limited. This 2 to the right clue can't be all the way pointing to this section. There's no vertical section possible in these spots, so it must be here. Closes this off. This edge has to keep coming across this bottom edge. This has to turn out, and we don't want to close off a mini loop down here, so this also continues. This 2 down now doesn't refer to this space, so it has to refer to this or to this. And across those, there's another constraint, which is this 3 left clue refers to a 3 up section here or here. It's got to be in those spots because further to the left, this 2 left clue is referring to the next section, which is only 2 long. And so the thing to note across those is this closest one doesn't leave space for this 2 down clue to be fulfilled. This is the only one that does. It can't be fulfilled through that row. It's got to be through this row. This keeps extending. This comes up. These ends still don't want to touch. This is a 3 long edge coming this way. So this turns over. This 2 down clue now just has these spaces. This turns up and touches this clue. So this comes up 2 and turns over. This comes here. These ends don't want to close. So these ends chase up and around the grid like so. This 2 left clue points at this edge right now, which is 4 long. So if we close this off, that's very bad. So these have to stay apart. This one that's directly seen is now only 2 long. These edges still chase themselves to dodge. So all of this is just keeping the loop from closing. If this end extended 1 further, it's now going to be too large for this 2 right clue. So this has to come over to the right. And we then have some options for it like this and this. But this is a good start now to the top. We can now come back to maybe looking at this 3, looking at this 1, and now see this 2 up clue is particularly constrained. It can't sit here because it would join to the 3, and it can't hit here because it would join to the 1. So this must be part of that 2. And what that even means is that this 1 down can't be here. That's a 2. This is a 3. It must be right here. So this is a great start to this upper left corner. I'm now looking at the fact I've got 3 ends or 5 ends, and so if these came together, I'm leaving 3 ends in this corner. That won't form a loop, so I don't like these connecting. I like one more end coming into this corner to get me to 4, and that finishes the 3 long stretch. What else is it doing? I think it's making, it's not this clue, it's actually making this clue very difficult to fulfill, because this clue has to cross this column. But it can't cross this column and then go 1 more. So if this 2 up works, it's not here, and it can't be here and here, because it's not far enough away. It's got to be up at the top. So that puts these in, puts this in. This 2 clue now points to here. This comes down. That's what this 2 right clue points at. That gets me to here. These come up. This comes over. We want to keep this hold from closing, so this comes down and this comes to the right. So that looks like a really good placement there, and we're now at the final corner of the grid to think about. And here again is going to be looking at a set of interacting clues, like this 2 up, 3 up, and 1 down, all point in the same kind of space. And this 3 up also interacts with this 2 to the right. So notice, for instance, if the 3 up used the closest position for it, there's no room for this 2 right clue to be fulfilled. So this gets canceled. This position would have the 2 and 3 pointing in the same section. That doesn't work. And a 3 can't be all the way at the top. So 3 is here. The 2 is starting from here somehow. And that means this 1 is left just to this space. This quickly turns, puts in this. This 2 quickly turns, comes down like so. This comes down like so. The only space for the 2 right to be working is for this vertical stretch to fill in. That puts these in, and we finish the loop and finish the puzzle. So thanks for watching this video, and hopefully you got a good primer in this style. It's an interesting style to see more of, and that's where I really hope you check out Loop Variety Collection 2, where Ashish and several other authors have treated us with some good more examples of this interesting Japanese puzzle style. Thanks. We'll see you again soon.